We are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my brand new show, the $1 Million Party Girl Show. I really went out on a stretch for that title. I racked my brain all night. What to call it? So yes, we are launching tonight. And Laura is right here. There's Elizabeth. Yes, you guys let me know in the comments if you got the email. You know, if you're on my email list, if you're not, make sure you get on the list at milliondollarpartygirl.com. You'll get my blog when it comes out. And of course, alerts when I'm going live. So I can share some great information with you. So this show is brand new. It's an interview show. We're using BeLive TV. So, or I should say BeLive.tv. So, which is great for direct sellers and well, really great for anybody, any marketers. There's Jessica. Hello. Teresa's here. Veronica's here. She got the email. Cool. So, lots of great things that you can do with this, especially indirect sales for your Facebook parties. If you guys saw, we had it, scheduled on my Facebook page, and then you could actually get an alert, a reminder. So imagine how you can use that for your Facebook parties. Pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Melina's saying she got the reminder. Hey, Laura. All right, great. So it's working. So this show is going to be every Thursday at 4 o'clock. This is the first one, and it's live. So, you know, we just never know.
We're here.
You never know what can happen. We're going to find out when you're going live. It's not like TV where they get the do-over and you don't even know what happened. You know, the bloopers are happening live as we're live streaming. So it's going to be a 30-minute show, and I'll be interviewing direct sales experts as well as leaders. So if you are in direct sales and you are a $1 million party girl, meaning you have built a multi-million-dollar business, go to my website, milliondollarpartygirl.com, click on show, and apply to be a guest on the show. I would love to interview you and have you share your awesome sauce, as I like to call it. All right, so let's get going. So launching, it's Women's History Month. If you guys caught my Social Girl Live show last night, never enough live streaming, never enough time. I talked about some ideas for you on Women's History Month, ways you can use it for your business. And of course, what better way to launch a new idea than Women's History Month? So I'm really excited. Laurie's here. I'm from New Jersey. She's from Delaware. So
we're close.
We're close. We've actually met in person over the holidays. Had some bubbles.
We will have to do that again soon.
No need to do that again. Actually, it's like this weather's been so great. It's like the perfect time we're having a little early spring here on the East Coast. The weather's been nuts. Veronica is on her way to 1 million. I love it. Jessica's saying, give us all the secrets, and we totally will. Trish is a Jersey girl here too. Hey, Trish, you get 2 for 2. You were watching last night and today, so thank you. So Laurie and I connected, and, you know, we both come from a place of abundance. You know, we're both in this direct sales, you know, space as industry experts, if you want to call it that. And yeah.
It just means we've made all the mistakes before you, so you don't have to make them all if you come along with us.
We have, yes, and we will tell you everything we've learned during that journey. And so, you just tune into the people that you really connect with. And I think as women, we do that really well. We don't always listen, and that's where we, tend to maybe have some of those people in our life that we're not too thrilled about, maybe that we need to unfriend on Facebook. Laurie is not one of them. You will love her. So just to tell you a little bit about her, she eats, she sleeps, and she dreams about providing smart solutions for all of you with cutting edge resources for women in direct sales and network marketing. And of course, not just in this country, but around the globe. She says, in her opinion, the melding of classic core business principles and consumer-focused strategies combining that with modern methods, tools, and technology. And I think really, Laurie, that's why we connected so well, because we have that same mindset that let's take what has worked well and translate it to this online world that we are all navigating at warp speed. So, technology, it's a powerful tool, but people, as Laurie says, are still the heartbeat of our industry. So, Laurie, it was a decade ago, right, that you started your direct sales business?
Gosh, well, actually, that's when it ended in the field. So I think I need to maybe have to update the bio. Yeah. So it was stepped out of the field and into working with direct selling companies and leaders in the field.
Okay. So you evolved you started, in the trenches, in the party plan business, built your business to a very successful level, and then went over to the corporate side. And
it wasn't by choice. It was, I, like many people have experienced before and after me, I was doing extremely well. And unfortunately, the company that I had my business through decided to close abruptly. So it was a forced transition. I was just fortunate that I had some good mentoring and was able to make the transition. So.
Yes, we are seeing that even more so. And I think that's really just because there are so many more direct sales companies.
And we hear about it more now.
And we hear about it more because of social media.
I had to wallow in my misery by myself with my team, but there was no public sort of, not everybody knew. It didn't just get out there but there was still the frenzy that occurs sometimes where your phone starts ringing and people try to recruit you. And so I've been through that. So if anybody's gone through it or goes through it or is going through it, just know that, you have a friend out there who you can reach out to and say, do you have any advice for how I navigate this? Because I'm here to say that you get to the other side and it can be even better than, at the height of your business. It can be even better in the future. So.
Yeah. And you know what, as women, we are the queens of reinvention, right? We're constantly reinventing. And I think that's why women do bounce back so much faster than men. Men tend to define themselves as that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Women, we're changing and evolving all the time. We're wives, we're mothers, we're, as my mom used to say, chief cook and bottle washer.
Yeah.
Right. And, I sent my email today and I said, you know what? Don't let anybody put you in a box and label you as being just that one thing. Mm-hmm. And, especially in direct sales, you might also, your direct sales business might be your side hustle, right? Yes. Where your friends and family are all of a sudden, you are really breaking out of your comfort zone, starting a business. And that's where we see those naysayers where they're not always going to be so supportive. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that's just their stuff. So don't even worry about that. Let their head hurt. Just go out and be more successful. And that's why we had this show to help teach you and guide you along the way. So let's dig right in. So Laurie, you've done a lot of work on the corporate end, right? Helping direct selling companies navigate the changing marketplace, and that's primarily happening online right now. Yep. So what do you think is the greatest challenge facing direct sellers in our industry today?
So I think there's three. But before I go into the challenges, I think that in anything, the greatest challenges bring us the greatest opportunities. So what I want to do is share the challenges, but I look at it on the bright side. And maybe that's, it's always sunny when I wake up, even when it's not outside. And I think today we can, as direct sellers, be even more entrepreneurial than ever before. So for me, it's exciting in spite of the fact that it's rooted in some challenges. And I just want to make sure, is anybody hearing an echo? I just want to make sure that my side is not giving an echo. So if you are, just holler. So the sort of the three areas, the first I go is what we started talking about in the very beginning, that the reason why you and I connected is because while the pendulum is swinging to this really higher tech online, and let's just say on Facebook way of doing business, it's really important that we don't forget the core strategies and the smarts and the relationship building that led us to be successful for the last, several decades. What I'm seeing is a lot of pendulum swinging to where people are giving up the ways that they used to do business. And then they're looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not really sure why my business isn't thriving anymore. And it's because they went a little too extreme. I think technology is a powerful tool. I love technology. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I'm on a computer. I've got a computer. I've got another computer. Like, it's like NASA here in my office. I love gadgets. I love gizmos. I love, newfangled things, but it's only to make what I do better. It's not to replace me. And I think that's something that we're seeing. And we have to learn to evolve. As things progress and change, we have to learn to evolve and try out new ways and figure out what works, what doesn't, without giving up that core. And we see it a lot. And I'll just one example. I know you're, on top of this, and as am I, the idea of Facebook jail. If we rewind, if we were doing this a year ago, you heard about people going to Facebook jail, right? I mean, we heard about that, but not in the epidemic proportions where every single day somebody new is, reaching out to me and saying, I'm in Facebook jail. What did I do wrong? And
it's whole companies are being shut down.
And that speaks to is the idea that if we've really moved all to one way of doing business, then it all feels like it crumbles underneath us when Facebook changes the rules. But Facebook owns their rules. And very often company policies that were created, years ago as we started to become a digital marketplace, they haven't kept up with the evolution. And sometimes company policies are in direct conflict with Facebook policies.
Many times.
That's a whole nother conversation, right? For a whole nother day. But the idea being that we have to be smart. We have to evolve. We have to pay attention to things that, to think about what we're doing. And are we doing it just because we're following somebody else? Or are we doing it because we know it's smart? And, that's, I think, my best piece of advice is to look at anything you do. And just because you see somebody else doing it online doesn't mean that it's a smart business strategy. Because if they're in Facebook jail, you might not hear from them. You might not know they got put in jail for that exact thing we're trying to copy.
They just disappear.
So go ahead.
I'm glad you're saying that because one of the things I saw happening probably about 6 months ago, maybe even longer, and now I'm seeing it again, where somebody posts on their Facebook page and it says, comment below if it's okay with you if I post about my business on your Facebook wall.
Yep. And
it is so spammy. I just want to reach out to the person and be like, don't be that person.
Yeah. And that's like one of those, it's obvious to us, right? And I always say, big businesses aren't built upon favors. And so in your entire career, it's highly likely you only need like a handful of favors, that like I'm almost going to promote to that big level that if I just get, one more this or one more that, sure, maybe. But you reach out in person via the telephone or face to face but really we shouldn't have to ask for favors in order to build a business. I mean, that's just my, at the core of what I do is believing that I have to get out of my comfort zone. I don't need to ask other people to get out of theirs as a favor for me.
Yeah.
So then the next thing, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say social selling, at its best is when your customers are talking about you. Exactly. You're not promoting your business on their Facebook page. It's so wrong on so many levels, but people see it and they see people doing it and they're like, oh, I got to jump in. I got to get on that because it's like you're missing out on something.
Well, and it's a panic. I mean, I remember feeling this, when we all had offline businesses and there was nothing online, that feeling of what is everybody else doing that I should be doing? And it all boils down to the core basics of the business. There is no magic, shiny, new fangled thing that'll make it all, go in crazy places. Because even the companies that we've seen grow, let's call it exponentially, using Facebook or Facebook Live, they're now running into some of these problems too, because all of their business is in a platform that they don't control and they don't own. So then the next thing would be, on top of that, is to, sort of parallel with not swinging the pendulum too far, is I'm going to like talk out both sides of my mouth, but you also need to make sure you have a robust online presence, because we live in a world where people make a decision in a millisecond and they go, oh yeah, I want to buy that. Or they're thinking about your product, they see a post and they're ready to act upon it. And literally in that millisecond, if they can't click to figure out how to shop, enroll, ask you a question, well, then the next millisecond comes along and they've moved on to the next thing. And it could have been the decision where they were ready to join you in the business. They would have been the next big seller, and they couldn't get it done. And they went off to soccer practice and it went right back to the bottom of the list. And so one of the things that is really important to me is to make sure that we're using all of the space that we have online to make sure people can find us fast. They can learn about your story and what makes you stand out. And you want to do it in a cross-platform approach so that you're not tying your whole business to just Facebook. Most direct sellers have replicated websites, and those replicated websites were built back in the day, back 10 years, 10 years ago, when they weren't thinking about digital marketing. They were thinking about a way to get orders and a way to enroll people. Unfortunately, replicated websites don't stand out online, and often they can't even be found online, whether somebody Google searches you or they go to your company's website, because they just weren't built that way. And so that's actually one of the things that was a problem that I identified several years ago. And it kept me up at night. It bothered me that we're doing all this hard work. And if you're in the field and you're out doing vendor events, or you're mustering up the courage to talk to somebody at the soccer field or the baseball field, and then you leave them and then they go to Google you and they go, oh, I remember her name was Lynn. She lives in New Jersey. I think I know what she sells. And they can't find you. That bothered me, because I know what happens from the corporate side is they might not find you, but they'll find someone, and then they'll become that person's lead or that person's prospect and that person's new team member. And so I have been working with a team of people to build a platform to solve this problem, because it's gone from an emerging problem to a real big problem. And so you and I have talked about this a lot. My team has brought a business registry and directory to the marketplace so that direct sellers can have a membership. It's called the National Direct Selling Registry. We're like hopefully days out from launching. And it's all designed to optimize people's online presence and then give you those tools, such as your own ability to write articles or your own ability to have your own events that are not tied to Facebook, but can tie into Facebook. So the idea is to be smart about what you're doing and make sure that when somebody goes to find you, wherever they go to find you, they can find you fast, connect with, buying, talking to you, enrolling, whatever the end result might be, within 1 or 2 clicks. So that's really important.
I think that's probably one of the, as you said, it really is the biggest challenge, because we do live in a Google world, right? People see you, they Google you. And unless they have from most of the, consultant searches I've seen, because even I've done it where I've gone to a main corporate website to look for somebody I met at a vendor event and wanted to follow up with her and couldn't find her information. And you typically need so much information about them. Yeah. That you usually need like their city, not just their state, but like their city, the first name, the last name, the city, and the state.
And what happened, and let's say even 3 years ago, people were more patient. We'd wait for our search on a computer because we were sitting in front of a computer, but today it's all mobile. And if you can't, that quick click, we call that reducing the friction. So what I'm trying to do is reduce the friction in these relationships so that when people want to do business, they can do it quickly. And one of the things that you can do, so like, what could you do today? Well, besides learning more about what I just talked about, joining the National Direct Selling Registry, what you can do is make sure that if somebody goes to your Facebook profile, that they can find either a clickable link to your replicated website, your telephone number, or your email address, or all three of them without it being hidden. So you can use your little info section at the top of your personal profile, and at a minimum, put your phone number or your email address if you don't feel comfortable with your phone number there. And if they click over to your business page, make sure that your contact information is right there, right on the front, because most people don't go digging for it. If it's not there, they'll move on.
And that's why, so, probably one of the biggest questions I get is, do I really need to have a Facebook page? And yes, you do. That is the modern day Yellow Pages. Yep. And, your business page is public. So even if your Facebook page is private and they search you and they get to your Facebook page, right? And now they've got a friend request you. Well, at least they can see that link right to your business page.
Right. Exactly.
And connect with you there. And, I talk a lot about this on my show, my Social Girl Live show, is so many times I'm seeing direct sellers not only not linking their business page to their personal page, but typically linking it to the corporate page.
Yes. And then it's like you're giving away, or they link it to somebody else's page, or it links to nowhere. And these are the kind of things. So, some of what I do is, training on exactly these things, because often it's like, oh, I get the idea, but then it's that nitty gritty of, well, where do I click and how do I do that? And so that's a lot of the type of training that I like to do, to take it from the big ideas all the way down to tell me literally what I need to do. So somebody asked, what is the name of the registry? So if you go to directselling.me, so direct selling all spelled out, .me, that's where you can watch a little video that'll tell you all about it. And actually, Lynn, we didn't even talk about this, but I created a coupon code because I figured if anybody was watching, we could give them $10 off. We're right now in an early adopter phase. So if somebody joins, they get free membership for life. So the coupon code is million, all in capital letters.
Perfect. I like it.
That was apropos, right? Go ahead.
And so they'll be able to find that at
directselling.me. Yeah. And that coupon code, I made it through like Sunday night, Monday morning. So that,
thank you.
There's time.
I didn't even know you were doing that. That's awesome. Yeah. And it's not a monthly fee, right? It's like a one-time.
No. So once we launch, it'll be a quarterly membership model, like a lot of other things, but our early adopters get the benefit of a free membership for life, and they get to be sort of in an inner circle of folks that there's already, many hundreds of early adopters that will sort of for always be the first. And so there's some built-in search perks and things like that tied into membership date.
Holly's asking what,
Yeah.
They're already moderating. They're moderating the comments for me already. Our
awesome. Thanks, guys.
They're in the house here helping us out. So yes, Marcy, Jessica, they all got it. Million. Is it all caps or does it matter?
All caps. All caps, yeah.
All uppercase.
And then, I could talk about I could talk about that platform forever, but I know we have more things we want to talk about. So I gave you two. The third is, of the challenges that are out there now as a direct seller, is in terms of being a leader, the idea of being duplicatable, because very often as a leader, you get caught into the trap of feeling like duplication or duplicatability, if that's a word, has to do with your style and the tools you use. And today, more than ever before, it's important to teach people processes and systems and let them figure out the tools that fit for them. So like as a leader, I might love this Be Live TV that you and I are using, and I'd be like, I'll train my whole team on it. And I could spend days coming up with all these great ideas, and then by next week, there's some new platform, and that didn't move my team ahead. But if I took the time to teach them about using live video as it has to do with maybe their marketing endeavors or doing virtual parties, well, then they can choose the tools that fit for them. So it's really important to teach people processes and not get sucked into the fun of teaching people new technology and new strategies. Like, let us do that, because that's what we do. And really focus on what moves your team ahead in big ways. I think that's very challenging today because there are so many new shiny objects.
Yeah, I agree. And as you said, it's changing as we're talking right now. Somebody right now is probably developing something completely new.
Yeah.
I do like Be Live TV because it is so simple. It's so simple. For now, it's free. We don't know if that's going to continue because it's still in beta testing. But
and I actually have a meeting scheduled with them next week because I figured best way to find out where they're going is to ask them. So I'll keep you in that loop.
Ooh, we'll have to have like a reveal or something.
Yeah.
Secret reveal. So yeah, you definitely got to focus on the systems and the strategies, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then rinse and repeat and empower your team to take it and run with it. Yeah. You know, many times you will, and I'm sure, you know, as direct sellers, you see this where a brand new consultant comes in and they just go. Like they don't even know what they're doing yet, right? And how are they doing it? They haven't had the experience or the training, but somehow they're kicking butt. Yep. So you don't always have to know everything, right? Let that enthusiasm and excitement fuel your team and empower them to go figure it out themselves. Yeah. Right? You provide the systems and the strategies behind it.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about, and this is, again, a question I get a lot because I am a blogger. I have a blog. And a lot of times people want to know, you know, how do you start a blog? And that, again, is something that can send people down a rabbit hole. And so I was really excited when you said your new platform will include the ability to blog and have a searchable blog. So I would like to know a little bit more about that.
Sure. So the first problem I set out to do was just to make sure that somebody could be found if you were Googled. But then it was like, well, if I'm going to assemble a whole team of, you know, nerds and get them to solve many of the problems. So I would say in an ideal world, every single direct seller would have their own personal website / blog. But that's totally unrealistic because the technology is hard to learn. It's expensive to upkeep, you know, security issues. I mean, you know, every other minute, something's trying to hack everything that we do. So built into the platform is the ability to, let's call it publish, but don't let that word be scary, post articles that can be written articles, maybe, you know, the 3 steps to motivating your team on Tuesday. Okay, I just made that up. But anything that you might think that is of value to people who would follow you, whether it's your team or your customers or prospects, you'll be able to produce an article and you can embed videos, you can embed audio files, you can embed graphics. So really just like a regular real blog. And then it'll be produced onto the person's profile, searchable in Google, or let's call them external search engines, but then built into our platform will make it searchable by topics and categories. So somebody can go to your profile and see all the articles you've written, or they can go to a search function and find, let's say, recruiting. And let's say somebody wanted to hear, you know, all the great ideas people have on recruiting. They could do a search for recruiting and then up would come all those articles. And they're shareable so that the idea is that this content becomes tied directly to you and your profile, your contact information, your story. And then when somebody likes it, then they can go share that with their friends, their followers, their team, whomever, and that expands your reach. And we know that Google likes when we create new content, and that content will always be tied back to the individual who published it or posted it. Yeah.
And I know you've done a lot with keyword research as well. We've talked about that to make sure that, you know, we can all be found for exactly the things that people are looking for when we search us. So you've already done the keyword research for us.
Yeah, and we've tried to make it, I hate the word dummy, but let's use it dummy proof, you know, so that you don't have to be even remotely tech savvy to be able to figure out, oh, that's where I put my words that I want to show up in the article. Oh, that's where I put, you know, a link that I want them to be able to click. So really trying to make it so the technology that's out there that we know expands your reach is brought to a level that's just approachable and doable. And doesn't take 10 more hours a week, you know, that it really just becomes part of what you do. I'm so excited because then that's some of the training that I'll be doing. Well, how do I write my first article and what might it be on? And really teaching how to use the platform that we've built in the smartest way. And it's a standalone platform, so it's not tied to what Facebook decides or what Snapchat decides or what Instagram decides, but it can coordinate with those in a way that can be powerful.
Yeah, it's really like having an enhanced website.
Yeah.
That's your own. It's part of your own.
Exactly.
Well, it's already been 30 minutes. Can you believe that?
It's so
terrible. So I want to end actually talking about Women's History Month.
Yep.
And thank you for everybody. We do see your comments. We'll pop back in when we're done to reply to all of you. Trish is saying she would love to learn how to blog. So that would be perfect for you, Trish. A great way. Again, don't go down a rabbit hole. Start a WordPress site. I mean, you certainly can, but that takes a very high level learning curve. Laurie's figured it all out for you. I like that. So it is Women's History Month, and for our viewers who didn't get to watch my show last night, so next Wednesday, March 8th, is International Women's Day. Facebook is actually doing a big promotion to really promote women, have them tell their story, use the hashtag #SheMeansBusiness, and you're going to see a lot of women going live. You should be going live too. Anybody that's watching, tell your own story, right? But tell me who inspired you. What woman, either historical or present day, inspired you?
It's funny. I've thought a lot about this. So for those of you who don't know me, I was a teacher for 10 years. I taught history of all things. So I have thought a lot about this, and actually the person who really resonates with me is a historical figure in terms of they're famous, but they're still alive. And that's J.K. Rowling. I have Harry Potter nerds in my house who, from the time they were 3 and 4, we would listen to Harry Potter book on tape whenever we would go on vacation. And to me, her story is really inspiring because if you can relate to somebody who started really with nothing, I mean, she was very impoverished, but yet she had this idea and she had this belief in herself. And I just got chills when I said that because what motivates me every single day is not what other people believe I can do, but what I believe I can do. And that's really hard sometimes. So you need to be able to look to other people who've done amazing, remarkable things and say, well, if they can do it, I can do it too. And I think about the impact that she's had on lives. For those of you who either don't have kids or haven't gotten into the Harry Potter stuff, in my world, it's really a huge part of my world. The time that my kids and I have spent reading those stories have been bonding experiences that, I wouldn't trade for the world. Even just last spring, we went to Universal Studios. So I had teenagers who, wanted to spend 3 days with me every waking moment. And it's because a woman in Britain took it upon herself to follow her dreams, and her dreams affected the whole trajectory of my life. And that's what we get to do as direct sellers. Even if you sell something as simple as, I can't think of something as simple as, but the most simple product, if you put yourself out there and invite people to come along on your journey with you, you can literally change lives even through selling just some simple, happy product. And that to me, that motivates me to my core, knowing that everything we do, we really can choose to put ourselves out there and make a difference.
Yeah, and when you do, it's the ripple effect. That's exactly what you're talking about. She probably never dreamed in a million years where that journey would take her.
Exactly.
And, I love that. That's what gets me out of bed every day. You just never know the impact you're going to have on someone's life because you stepped up.
Yeah.
To do something a little bit bigger than maybe you weren't quite sure you could do. So
exactly.
Thank you so much. This has been an awesome 30 minutes. Marcy's saying that she needed this today. Good. So Marcy, we're so glad you tuned in. Teresa's asking, once you post or do a video or go live, how do you let all of your friends know? So we'll answer that in the comments for you, okay, Teresa. But you could do just what I did here. I sent an email out, email your customers if you've created a list, or share it in your customer group and say, hey, come over here, cross promote on the other places where your customers already are, and let them know where you're going to be. That's a really simple way to do it.
Yep. And I'll give a very literal answer to that, because I think about this every time. I know you probably do too. Like, how much do you want your friends in what we do to see what we do? There are times when I'm like, okay if my friends don't ever see me live online, because we go live all the time, but like my friends don't all necessarily want to watch that, which is probably the same in the field. But what I'll do at the end of this is I'll like or comment as myself. And so then my friends will see that I liked or commented on it. So it's a soft little sort of, hey, look what I'm doing, as opposed to a loud,
sharing to your page. Yes, because that will show in the news feed. When you like or comment, that's all showing in the news feed. Yep. All right, thank you. That was a great little tip. And if you guys don't know that, you can toggle back and forth between your business page and yourself. Just click on that little drop-down arrow before you comment in the right corner. Yep. Amanda's saying, Facebook Live has changed your business. I know, I just think everybody should go live all the time. Yeah. Okay. Trish is going live tonight. Yay! All right. Thanks, everyone.